a very organic thing. You're
What
very
is
well
even
produced.
happening right now?
You're very well produced over there. Welcome to a more organic, streaming, chilling, flowing kind of thing. Got a sip of the coffee. Morning,
Ooh.
everybody. It's Mikey here.
Morning.
We are joined
At
or
the hip.
invaded by our good
Invaded?
friend Graham from Politics Social. I went the wrong way.
Hello.
Graham
British
is
are coming.
Graham is a very interesting fellow. Some of you may not have been around for when Graham was on the show. We've been on his show a half dozen times in the last couple of months, but he hasn't been over here, and that's mostly our fault. But Graham, what's a couple of things you've done? Maybe a couple of things you've written, anything like that.
Should
Put
have had a
yourself
book
over.
to hand. Okay, my name is Graham Hughes. I'm the first person to visit every country in the world without flying. Here is my Guinness World Record certificate.
It happened.
Finished it in January 2013. Took me 4 years and 1 month to do that shit. And as a consequence, I'm in the Guinness Book of Records. And also Ripley's Believe It or Not. And then soon after doing that, I went on an American game show and I won an island. So I lived on a little island off-grid for 3 years and off the coast of Panama. So that was fun. And then I came back to get involved in politics because I had a reverse midlife crisis. And I thought, do you know what? I'm having too much of a good time in this country where the beer's dead cheap and the weather's always good. I'm going to go home and live in suburban Durham in the UK and become a stepdad. And so that's what I've done.
He says it, but then he leaves out all the like he says the easy stuff. But you also drove across Europe.
Yes. What, to go to Ukraine? I've done that a few times, actually.
Yeah, so
I've done that 4 times. Dropping off humanitarian aid and picking up refugees. Coming back.
How many thousands of kilometers is that, like, one way?
Oh God, I don't know. About 500 kilometers. It's not that far.
Oh.
It's about.
Oh wait,
from the coast.
Okay, yeah. Where'd you leave from?
I left from Durham, in the UK, which is up near the Scottish borders. Mm-hmm. It's not far from Hadrian's Wall. In the north of England, and drove from here through the Channel Tunnel on a train. You put your van on the train. It's brilliant. It's really cool. Go through the tunnel. Public transport, Mikey. I know you don't know what that is, but it is a thing.
Hey, we have it. It's just dangerous. It's risky.
It's not as risky as
tipping over, man.
Allowing every idiot to have a car. Which is very dangerous in America.
We don't know what to do, okay?
You have the most dangerous drivers in the world, I believe, in America.
Hold on. That can't be right. Madagascar has got to have the worst driver.
No, because the roads are so shit, they can't get up to the speeds that you guys can get up to in America.
Damn it.
Cursed
with these blessed smooth tarmacs.
Yes.
It's not our fault. And also, our cars are better than yours, so naturally, it's more...
They're more polluting. Make more money for the oil-producing countries, of which America is one, but there's others like Angola and Saudi and Libya and Venezuela, and I don't know if you want to be giving them money.
Well, we give them lots of things, as we discussed on stateside the other day. PC, maybe she can find it. I was over there yesterday, and we talked a little bit about like Iran-Contra, without talking about Iran-Contra, but migrant crisis source found.
Yes.
Let me think. There was one other thing I wanted to say. One thing I wanted to talk to you about today.
Yes.
You are a staunch Remainer, or were a staunch Remainer.
Yes. I was.
I don't think a lot of Americans understand the referendum, what Brexit meant. And
would you like me to explain it?
Please.
Okay, imagine one day a charismatic charlatan appeared in the state of New Hampshire and said, I'm going to lead you all to a new and wondrous future where you are no longer part of the United States of America, because the United States of America is holding you back. And if you weren't part of the United States of America, the richest country in the world, you could trade with other countries that at the moment you can't trade with. And the people in New Hampshire fell for this charismatic charlatan, this nepo baby. In fact, there were quite a few nepo babies, and so they voted overwhelmingly by 2% to leave the union. And they were like, "I bet you won't let us leave." And the rest of America went, "All right, then, if you want to go that badly, you can go." "Oh, I bet you're going to stop me. Bet you're going to stop." And they didn't. They didn't stop us leaving. So that's what we did. We left the EU, which is the biggest trading bloc in the world. Not really understanding that there's about 200 countries in the world, and about 50 of them have money, and 150 don't. And a lot of those countries that have the money are in Europe. So you kind of want to, trade with them. They're more likely to buy your shit than people in Burundi, who are lovely, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to buy on Nissan Qashqais, are they?
Well,
and they're living off a bowl of rice a day.
Could people maybe, tariffs? Maybe we should just, like Trump says, we should just have tariffs to, I don't know, put in parts of Brexit for America. Maybe not.
But we did. We had that. We had that, Mikey. We had that. We had people saying that we should let's go WTO, which would mean putting WTO tariffs on everything that we import and export, which would make us so uncompetitive. It would be not like, I don't know, having a blowout in NASCAR. It would be a bit like getting out of your NASCAR and setting it on fire next to the track while all the other cars are whizzing round and thinking, "Oh no, I'll win in the end." No, you're not going to win. It's a stupid thing to do. But we have people here who are economically illiterate or just illiterate going, "Yeah, let's go WTO. Let's put tariffs on everything." Not knowing what a tariff is. A tariff is a tax that is paid by Americans, in this case, in your case, on products coming into America from countries that have to have tariffs imposed on them. China doesn't pay those tariffs. Americans do. And who gets that money? The US government. The US government gives that money then to, I don't know, Elon Musk as part of the billions of dollars of subsidies the US government gives Elon Musk every year.
It's strange because the same people, it's almost the reverse of the weed argument, because the conservatives hate weed so much that they were going to look all this free tax money in the face and just say, "I don't want it." And then eventually they're just like, "Okay, how many dispensaries?" "Okay, you can have 5. 5 only, damn it." "Okay, that was fucking awesome. I am addicted to this money thing. This money thing is great. Giving people what they want and taxing it. Oh, why didn't we think of it?" It's been I almost feel like Illinois has chilled out.
Yes.
Since weed became legalized. Like the politicians have chilled out. They've mellowed.
Well, I'd like to think that, but I think at the same time, you've got a lot of people who are now falling for conspiracy theories, and that leads them down the rabbit hole to Trumpville, Trumpton, Trump, Trumpia, Trumpistia. Which is one of the reasons why it's so tight over in America at the moment. I mean, it's like you went up to someone in the street and you went, "Right, you got 2 candidates. One's a massive paedophile and the other one's not. Who do you want to vote for?" Most people will go, "I'll vote for the non-Nazi one."
Tell me more about the pedophile.
No, hang on. What's the pedophile's policies on putting tariffs on things in China?
How does he feel about drilling?
Because here's the thing about tariffs. If you put tariffs on stuff coming into your country, the countries that buy stuff off you will put tariffs on stuff coming from your country. So not only do you drive up prices for Americans, you drive up prices. Yeah, you kill your export market. Yeah. This is really simple, Mikey. I'm not an economist, and I'm an idiot scouser, which is someone from Liverpool, and I can get my head around this. It's not complicated. I didn't pay much attention in school. Just saying.
I thought it was easy.
Oh yeah, it's always easy. Simple solutions to complex problems. I
just thought it was simple shit. Like, hey, don't pay more on purpose. He's the business guy who's like, "You know what would be great as a businessman? Tariffs."
Tariffs.
And they believe him. There's no one business that wants tariffs.
This is the guy who has literally bankrupted casinos. Like, how do you do that? There's the rule about casinos. Casinos always win. People walk into a casino, they give all their money to the casino, and then they walk out of the casino. That's how a casino works. How can you make that? How can that go wrong? How can that go wrong? Like, how do you fuck that up? You've got to try really hard. It's like Brewster's Millions. He had to try really hard to get rid of $1 million.
Did
Richard Pryor, great movie.
did he gamble back? Did he just like go out there at the blackjack tables like, no, no, no,
Just a terrible businessman.
no, no, no. The house wants to play you. Like, did he do that one night? Like, that's the only
Every
way. Like, no,
every
the
one of his
house wants to play
projects,
you
from
this
Trump
time.
Steak, Trump Airlines, Trump University, Trump watches, Trump sneakers, they've always ended in miserable failure because he's a shit businessman. And if he takes over America again, hey, you guys are in a lot of trouble. I
Um,
think I think a lot of you are high on copium or something, going, "Oh, we'll be fine. We're America. We'll be fine." And I'm just looking at through history and stuff. You'll be
what
amazed
do you?
at how many Republicans will sit there eating popcorn on their front lawn while their neighbors, are being barbecued alive in front of them and going, "Hey, hey, this is cheaper than Netflix, isn't it?"
I don't
Making
know
jokes
that there's
about it.
I don't know that there's enough of them people though.
I think.
Because
You've got a
this is
population
because
of 330 million. You
but it's
need
all in the
less than
big. It's all in
1%
the.
to be psychic.
But it's all in the big. We're all in large. Like the Chicagoland area is
Yeah.
equal density and all that to London.
Yes.
Like we are, and that's just Illinois. And we have
Yeah.
another one that's about half the size, a little bit further, and then another one a half. So we have large population groups. The bumpkins you're talking about, they don't have any black neighbors. That's why they're
Oh no,
racist.
it's just
They
so many
don't
black
have any.
people.
They
It's
don't
going to be
have any.
everyone.
They don't have any blue neighbors. That's why they think this shit.
Everyone. It's going to be everyone who looks at them funny. They're going to feel
But you,
empowered to live life on their terms, which is, unfortunately, look, 1% of the population is a psychopath, right? So
that's like
for a
saying the
population like
Manchester
yours, that
United
means
fans would take over.
3.3 million people are psychopaths. There's 3.3 million psychopaths in your country. Good
We're
luck.
used to that. Some of them are my co-hosts. Okay, I can't judge these people. These people are citizens. They have rights. They're allowed to be
Right.
crazy in this country. We have to deal with them. We have to negotiate with the crayon
Yep.
eaters simultaneously
Yes.
to trying to push us to a better place. We have to,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes. But once
But
the
like
gloves are off, mate, you're for dinner.
so like you
Simple as
saw.
that.
So you guys had some incidents with a certain frog who likes to say certain things
Yes.
on podcasts where you had race
Yes.
riots up there, right? And
The bollocked face foghorn of ignorance. And do you know how we got rid of those race riots, right? We
sounds good.
didn't. We didn't clamp down on. We didn't beat them up with sticks. We didn't fire bullets at them, rubber or otherwise. We used the court system to put the shits up them because we arrested a handful of them and then we prosecuted them within a week and sentenced them to 2, 3, 4 years in jail. And the other people, like, we'll go on this riot next week. And then they saw these people being put away for 4 years and they were like, oh, maybe not. And it was a genius move by our new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. And I don't think he gets enough credit for it.
I
I mean, imagine stopping nationwide riots within like
But
literally a
them's the
handful of
breaks.
days using the judicial system. Now, is Trump going to do that? No, he's going to go, oh, it's a riot of love. It's a love riot.
it's a love
It's a
fest.
love lynching.
This is a hug-tacular extravaganza. We're all hugging.
Yes.
Hug
Yeah,
him
they're actually
in the
hugging.
face. Hug him right there
Yeah.
in the face.
Yeah.
I had a point. I just lost it. Either way, you guys dealt with the prosecution was definitely expedited the cowardice of those little men, but also y'all showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they showed up to the riot that day, matching numbers, and then they found out on their social media what the next riot was going to be, and they showed up to that, and they outnumbered them like 2 or 3 to 1. So
There was some fabulous
so why do you think us big cities are gonna let these little assholes start jerking people around? We show up for us too. There's a lot of
a
us.
handful of people with AR-15s can do a lot more damage to their fellow citizens than like the knobheads who turn up in the UK who have got a sock with some snooker balls in it. They're lucky. It's the added danger of America because of the lax gun laws, because the gun companies need to make their money.
But they're
their
not
blood
red.
money.
But they're not red guns.
What?
Like that's
What?
like I don't want to keep like walking around the thing. But like Graham, I keep reminding you, we're
There
not
were
all,
millions of people in Chicago who were going to vote for Trump.
we're not
They're not going
all
to win.
we're not all sheep, Graham, is what I'm saying. Like you keep,
Yes, I
I
don't think
mean,
you
they're
are. I
not
said
the
1%. I said 1%.
no. You,
1%. That's all
I'm
you need.
trying to walk around me confessing something because I'm probably
Yeah.
already on a bunch of lists. It's like they're not the only ones who are armed. Like that is a
Yes.
risky proposition to shoot at a crowd of people. That's
Yes.
risky for them
But
and
the
for
thing is, right?
you know what I mean? Like there's a
If you
reason why
want to
Black
stop
Lives Matter
getting
are proud.
shot, if you're going to stop getting shot, you live in a country where it's hard to get guns, right? Another way is to wear a bulletproof vest or have one of those shields that you hold in front of your face, or one of the bulletproof glass
A
that
Pope
Trump has when
mobile.
he's doing his rallies. And he says, "We're going to be brave," and he's behind bulletproof glass.
He
Right?
believes in God, but he hides
Oh,
behind bulletproof
yeah.
glass.
The chances of you shooting a bullet that is racing towards you faster than the speed of sound, the bang a gun
Who said
makes,
it was
is
gonna
literally the bullet breaking the sound barrier. That's what it is. The idea that you've got a gun and that's going to defend you against that bullet that is whizzing through the air is for the birds. It's not going to defend you. All it's going to do is be on your hip while you bleed out on the pavement.
Okay.
Yes.
Graham's not aware of secured escorts, and no one's ever had an escort to do anything. No one's ever had. So security is a waste of time because you could always be shot from someone else.
Yeah, in a country where there's
Well, then
there's,
why is it? Then why
everyone's
is it
got a
there?
gun.
Then why
There's more
is it?
guns than people.
I hear what you're saying, but it's funny to hear from like the other side of the pond because
Yes.
there is because you guys see our numbers and no one's happy about it, right? But it is
You are. I am. I'm well happy. I've got shares in your companies that make your guns. Every time there's a high school shooting, a bunch of kids get their brains splattered all over the walls. The bodies are pulverized so much by these AR-15s that their parents can't identify them in the morgue. I'm like, hey, great, because I know that my share price is going to go up. Because every time a massacre happens like that in America, people go out and buy more guns because they're more fearful. And they're like, oh, shit, do you know what? I need to stop this happening again. More guns. It's brilliant. If you're evil and you've got... I don't really have shares, but if I did, I'd be like, yeah, Bonza.
And you want me to live in this country unarmed? Cool.
No. Well, actually, yes.
That's what I'm
Because that's the other thing, Mikey. Owning a gun in America makes you 7 times more likely to be shot with a gun. Which again is great for me because I'm,
hey,
in
the words of Han Solo, never tell me the odds. It's that's the reality of the situation though. So if you're in a Wild West saloon shootout situation, I mean, if you can't hide in the piano,
that never happened, Mikey. That was just made up for Hollywood.
No.
You had to check your guns in before you went into Dodge or Deadwood.
It's an analogy. You're supposed to use your imagination.
I know. You have to check your guns in. They didn't let cowboys in with guns.
Okay. I get that you don't like the reality of the situation, but I just feel the need to tell you.
Makes me money.
Okay.
I just think.
I mean, it's a very.
I wish that these companies didn't have so much power.
Right.
You know, I wish that they had an electronic database of everyone who owned a gun and the serial number of the guns that they had. I wish I had a system where, like my phone, you could only use it if you had my fingerprints on the gun. So, only I could use my own gun. That'd be quite handy. I also wish that, like every other product that is manufactured in America, if it malfunctions, I could take the manufacturer to court for blowing my hand off. But you can't do that with a gun because it's specially protected. I don't know, by the Constitution. I don't know. You just can't sue them. You can sue Coca-Cola if you, I don't know, drink some Coke and it's got glass in it. But not guns if they malfunction and blow your hand off. Or worse. Yeah, so there's a few things that America could do. 20 odd years ago, I thought maybe they could ban handguns. This is at the time when AR-15s were banned. But unfortunately, they not only ended the ban on AR-15s, they pretty much ended the ban on pretty much anything that anyone wants to get.
Well, the big thing now is people are getting raided for ghost guns. So here's a gun you didn't know about.
This is 3D printed guns.
They're 3D printing or using molds and like acrylic and stuff like that, and making the receivers and everything, and then just putting in all of the buying the hardware separate, and then putting the bolt and receiver and all that stuff, just loading it in.
Yeah.
No serial numbers, no nothing, just literally a thing. That's a reality, right? Like it exists, like it's out there. So the thing that I find hilarious from people across the pond is that they just say, well, then just change reality. And it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. Why don't I just ban? I'll just change the Constitution. I'm so stupid. Why don't I just get rid of the money of politics and then change the Constitution? Until that day, it would behoove me to be able to defend mine. Because being in a biracial relationship in a land full of so aforementioned crazies, well, it can be crazy -1 if they try to come over here. And that's good enough for me. Because I would like for Little Famine to make it to be Adult Famine without some crazed lunatic thinking that I'm okay.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but the odds are against you.
Yeah, but the
I know they say may the odds ever be in your favor, but
it's funny how the statistics. It's funny that the statistics aren't even tracked on most racial crimes, and racial crimes are on the rise.
Yes,
so
you're American cops.
and the no knock warrants where people have actually been found innocent for shooting police for kicking in their front door and trying to murder them because they think that there's somebody else. Like, this is not the same country. I need you to think all the factors in. So you might need to stop someone from kicking in your front door. It might be the police. You don't know. It could be anybody.
You're going to pull a gun on the police.
I'm going to pull a gun on somebody busting in the door without knocking and without announcing who they are, which sometimes they don't announce who they are. They just go in like a freaking gang unit, you know.
And do you think they're going to go, oh no, he's got a gun, we better tiptoe back out of here? Do you know what I mean? They see you got a gun, they'll shoot you faster.
So for a little bit of context, like these no-knock warrants are usually like high-risk drug warrants, right, that they're trying to serve on these places. They have the wrong fucking address. So they just go in as if Pablo Escobar is in there, and it's like a girl by herself, like sleeping on the couch on a blanket, and they see her jump up and they blast her because she shouldn't. Yeah. What was she doing? What? Okay. What is my recourse then? If it's not to at least protect or scare off or do something.
Well, you're not going to scare the police off with a gun, are you?
It works. It works.
Has anyone pulled a gun on the police and the police have gone, oh, yes. How you put it that way? Just go get some donuts.
Yes.
Sorry
when the first cop falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then they look at the house number again and say, what the hell is going on? And there's yelling through. You can pull the clips. It happens.
And the rest of the cops go, we've got the wrong house. Let's go and leave our dead comrade on the floor.
That's what you're saying, but I'm saying it's happened.
No, I'm saying they don't do that. I'm saying, oh my God, he's killed my friend. Don.
I'm saying people have been found innocent of any crimes for defending themselves against police officers entering their homes on no-knock warrants or for reasons untrue to their duties. You're not allowed. The laws are different here. My house is my castle in this country. So entering someone's castle is a very dangerous thing in this country.
Yes.
For anyone.
Or trying to take anyone's property. This is how you tell because I don't mean to offend any Canadians, but their accent is quite similar to the American accent. So a really quick way of sussing out whether they are American or Canadian, just asking them this question. Someone is going to steal your telly. And there's nothing you can do about it. They're going to steal your telly. And then, you'll have to get the money back for it on the insurance, get another one. Bit of an inconvenience. What should their punishment be? And if they're Canadian, they'll say, well, maybe they should go to jail if it's a repeat offender. Maybe they should get a fine or some public service that they have to do as a criminal. And you ask an American the same question, and they'll be like, death. They have to die. They have to die screaming in pain in a puddle of blood on the pavement, sidewalk, sorry. And that's the weird thing about Americans. They are absolutely obsessed with their shit. You know the weird sketchy kid in school?
That's
who
white.
always,
That's white.
It was a bit like, get away from my shit! Get away from my shit! They're a bit like an entire nation of those weird kids.
Billy Kershaw in this chat, thank you, Billy, says, the lady who called the police fearing an intruder, then shot dead for cursing the name of Jesus. With the pot of boiling water. Hey, lady, your water's about to overboil. Oh, shit, let me go turn that off. What are you doing with that water? Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. All that. You're not selling this to me, I've got to say. Like, and also, in America,
I understand exactly what your position is. I just want you to root it in reality, and you can't do that for me. So if you can't root it in reality and some sort of policy that can actually happen in this country, you are pissing in the ocean, my friend, which is fun, but it's not helpful.
Well, in 2016, 1,138 people died in police custody or being shot dead by the police. Mm-hmm. And that is a horrific number. And that's not collated anywhere because in America, it's against the law to put the figures for anything to do with guns together. The only thing they're allowed to do is the Centers for Disease Control are allowed to say the absolute figures of how many people died by accident, suicide, and homicide in America by guns. That's the only thing they can investigate. You can't research this by law.
NRA
so
lobby.
I don't think you're allowed to do it as like a research paper for your PhD. You're not allowed to look into American gun statistics. It's just not allowed. It's just not done. So what the Guardian newspaper did in the UK, they teamed up with an American newspaper and they just literally counted the number of news stories in the press in America across the country every time someone was shot dead by the police. Because in America, the police don't have to tell the federal government if they just shot someone. That no one forces them to collate that information. No one puts it all together. So they did. And it turned out that over 1,000 people were killed. 1,138 people were killed by the cops in 2016, right? And just to put that into perspective, and I know that Britain is 5 times smaller than America in terms of population. However, in the same year, about 550 people were killed in the UK, but by murderers, by actual people who were charged with murder. The entire country, not cops, just number of people shot dead by the cops that year in this country. 0, not 1. There you go.
Not really selling it, Graham.
Yeah, not really selling
it. That makes me want to join the crazies and get a bazooka on top of my tank. It's crazy here.
Yes.
And you have to
but you have
to factor in the crazy. Is there a way to be a safe firearm or handgun owner? Yes.
No.
I think there is. I think there is.
Well, you got to keep it a safe, and then by the time you've got you've opened the safe and got the gun out, the police have already probably shot you. It's because it's the middle of the night.
But you said that. I mean, that's what you say, and that's how you do it. But you're not factoring in anything. Again, you take everything and you take it out of reality so that it can be a fun thing to yell about. But when it comes to being someone, being someone who lives here, who has a family to protect, your solution is don't have a solution.
My solution would be in your situation, I wouldn't have a gun just in case the police turn up. Because if they're going to shoot a woman
I didn't say just. I didn't say. Hold on. I didn't say it was just for the fucking police before you get me on another fucking list. So don't say it like that because they're going to clip it.
You're giving that as an example.
No, don't say it like that because they're going to clip it. You know that. I'm saying it's for anybody who fucking comes in this fucking house. Anybody, not just for fucking police. God damn it. It is to protect my family. That is what it's for.
From what? From people who want to murder you?
Yes.
They're going to murder you by the time you get the gun out. If it's locked away.
You don't know that. But you say it as you don't know that, but you say it as if it's true. And that is the problem because you're not based in reality. You're based in I don't think you'll be able to get there in time. Yes. Says fucking you. Like, what do you know?
Well, someone
Like, you
turns up in
don't
the bedroom in
know.
the middle of the night. There's not much you can do about it. Do you know
It's
what I mean?
but that's the thing. Like, it's not home defense is not just having a gun. It's a way of living your life. It's having things set up in a certain way. It's having things. It's doing checks on your perimeter. It's doing all of these things. Is home defense. It's not just getting a big fucking AR-15 and blasting through the door. Like that's not a fair assessment of what gun ownership is, and you shouldn't mischaracterize it as that.
In a country that's not gun obsessed, you don't even think about this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Active shooter drills in schools.
Yes, but we have to implement laws that affect the bad people and not the people who are trying to protect themselves, like myself. If you look at the history of this fucking country, black men have needed guns to protect themselves from America and from white people.
How much is a gun?
Historically, we have always needed to protect ourselves from other people that don't like us for one reason or another.
How much
True or false?
How much would I have to spend to get
Graham, go with me.
No,
Graham,
I understand that, but my question is,
so they shouldn't have had a gun. You said no one should have ever had a gun in American history.
Is it about? I don't know because they're about to buy one. Is it about $500? How much would you get?
Sure. Yeah.
Get about $500, right?
Yeah.
I think I reckon it would be cheaper for you to get on your boat. I mean, you might have to fight some polar bears and some orca whales, but get on a boat and move to Canada. It's only up the
$500 wouldn't even get me out of Illinois. So your real world solution and legislation that should be passed is to take $500 and move out of you heard it here first, everybody. You can escape all of the gun crime with $500 and a boat to Canada. That's the very serious
claim diplomatic asylum.
Well, you want to bring up school shooting and kids fucking brains all over the place, but then you bring me this $500 fucking boat ticket shit. So pick a side. Are you trying to help us get this better?
How long did you get? How long did you get on your visa?
Or is it just funny to you? Like, which is it?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, when I wrote my final year dissertation on American gun law American gun policy back in 2000, I was very much like, there must be a solution to this problem. There must be a solution. And there really isn't. And so I can either be despondent about it or can just kind of laugh about how ridiculous the whole setup is. Because it's just made up to make some really horrible people a shitload of money, and they don't care how many Americans die. You know, dead American to them is nothing. It's weird, but the same people who get very upset and very vexed about people dying in other countries, they're like not so bothered about Americans dying. It seems a bit odd, but that makes me think that Americans don't like each other too much, and that makes me worry if Trump gets in, because you know what might happen. Anyway, I'll just have 500 quid in a I don't know, a shoebox or something, so I can flee to Canada at a moment's notice.
So you want to leave Trump here with all of our shit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's not going to last long, is he? He's half dead. He's got brain worms.
On what planet should we give the crazies the bounty of the mountain? Like, no, we push out the crazies. Why is everyone we're not forsaking this. We're not giving up this country to the Trumpers.
You're a rich state, aren't you? You're Illinois, which is a blue rich state, right?
Not rich.
You give so much money to bloody redneck red states.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Because that's
you
the right
subsidize the lifestyle of living in a swamp and voting for Trump.
That's the right thing to do.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not what they want.
If you
they keep saying they don't want government handouts, so stop giving it.
Yeah, but they need it because if we don't feed them,
they don't.
Because if we don't feed them and give them hospitals and keep them educated, then there'll be a greater blight on the society. So we should probably pump more money into their horrible fucking areas.
Their bodies isn't much of a blight unless I don't know they start spreading disease.
Well,
I just think it's a bit mad that like these democratic states just give so much money to the Republican states, and the Republican states just shit all over in return.
That's what they do. That's what they do. But because that federal money is for American citizens, even if we don't like them, even if they're wrong, they're still citizens. They're still humans.
Yeah.
But I got a clip of.
I realized you were so happy clappy about this. I thought it'd be more like screw 'em. Screw them like they screwed us.
No. All right, here we go. Without context, so played.
For that though,
yeah, they settled that. That was, and there was no
That's Laura Trump. Okay, some context.
admission of anything there. Central Park 5. There were so many people. You had a governor, Democrat, DA who prosecuted the guys, and they admitted to it. There were a lot of people in New York
They were
at that time.
exonerated and freed, and there was never an apology, never sorry, never
However,
a my
I will
bad.
say that you have to look at somebody and what they actually have done. And Donald Trump really was very beneficial to the black community when he was in the White House. I will say I've never seen this man say a racist thing.
The brakes.
I think the attacks are fairly. Why is that funny, Charlamagne?
I'm just like, it's hysterical. But I mean,
But no, Charlamagne,
because people act like
listen.
there's no such thing as Google. Or,
But Charlamagne, why are you laughing at my obviously bullshit statement?
we don't have TV. We don't
Well,
have
what is
radio.
it that you think that he said?
When Mexico sends its people,
They got the clip.
they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Even look at him then. Let me go back to us here for the His face was tighter. He didn't have so much spray paint. His racism came out in a well-articulated sentence. It's
He's still got to win though, mate. Sorry. It's over.
well, this is from the guy who thinks home defense is putting a fucking bear trap underneath your mailbox. Like, I hear ya.
Why would you do that? No,
That's what you think we do. We're just
having
like
a
fucking
gun makes you
Yosemite
7 times
Sam.
more likely to be killed with a gun. Having a gun in the house.
We're
Through
Americans.
suicide, accidents, or domestic violence. That is a fact, and that's why so many people die in America violently than any other developed country in the world. And you're talking like huge magnitudes of difference between somewhere like Switzerland, where they do have a lot of gun ownership in Switzerland, but you compare that to America,
Polar bears.
where any old idiot, paedophile, nonce, weirdo, psychopath, sociopath, narcissist can get themselves a complete armory like it's Terminator 2 or something. It's bonkers, absolutely bonkers. We've got Carrie saying that I need it for me to fend off bears. How many bears do you get in Chicago, Mikey?
We have a whole team of them, actually.
A team of bears. They run around. I'm not talking about
Chicago
hairy
Bears.
gay men. I'm talking about actual,
The Chicago
grizzly bear.
fucking Bears. That's the name of the fucking sports team. You walked right into it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, that's
I
why I
love the
pointed at the
fact that-
camera and everything.
What sport is that? Is that
Football.
basketball or is that NFL? What is
NFL.
that? NFL.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So were they all hairy and gay?
I don't know. You have to ask them.
I like the sound of that one.
Hey,
I'll come
the
over.
hair can confirm.
I'll come and visit next month. Only if you protect
Yeah.
me, though. You'll have to be my armed escort.
I can do that for you.
Yeah, you can be my escort.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
So, yeah.
You know what's crazy? You'd probably need it for the red areas and not the black people areas. Like, dude, I don't know where this, like, I get the statistics, but there's no nuance to a lot of it.
No, there
When
isn't.
it comes
It's a blunt instrument,
much
like a bullet flying towards you.
when it comes to like when it comes to domestic violence in those situations, oh yeah, having a firearm is a horrible terror. But when it comes to like when it comes to harassment and gun flashing and intimidation and driving people out of town and shooting people's windows out and all this, these are redneck boy kind of crimes. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, we'll just go to like fucking Cicero, go get you some of the best fucking Mexican food you've ever had in your fucking life. And we're completely safe because there's no dangerous white people around. So you just blend. As long as you can get some, Mexican, black, Indian, if you can mix those in with the white people, it de-radicalizes them.
Indian, old school or new school? Because I think we call them Native Americans these days.
No, we call them indigenous or native people around here. Yes. Or you announce them by their people. Because a lot of people say them by their names now.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's a step in the right direction. How many tribes were there in America before Whitey turned up and fucked everything?
600.
It's about 600. I was going to say 300. Bloody hell. Well, it's a big country, isn't it?
Yeah, I was. Me and my wife just went to a little mini vacay to St. Louis to go see like the zoo and the art museum. I don't think we hit the art museum this time. Science Center, and we went to like a little museum underneath the arch. And for those of you who don't know, the Gateway Arch is this big fucking 600-foot tall arch. It's a big steel fucking arch. It looks completely out of place in this like river valley basin kind of looking thing. And some say they use it to control the weather.
Oh, okay.
If you want to get,
is it hot? Is it?
Oh yeah, that's up in Alaska.
Is Wayne watching? Because he likes Muse, doesn't he? They're into the conspiracies. They're controlling the weather. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dog. They're making the thunder come.
And it didn't help like dispel any of the conspiracy theories when a couple of tornadoes obviously went away from downtown St. Louis and went back into Illinois, and it was like, that doesn't look well. It's just the river and the air current, and it wasn't the thing didn't block it, I promise. Do some conspiracy theorying. It's fun.
Okay, I've got
I'm landing the plane. But in the basement of the arch, there's a huge museum because it's part of like the national parks thing. So it's like federally protected and all that stuff. It's like a monument now, like federal status. So very cool. Good for St. Louis. And they have all of the different indigenous peoples, all of the like there was so much French and Spanish influence down in St. Louis that, I mean, it wasn't even that like nobody had slaves. It was like there was slaves over here and free people over here, black French from over there, black Spaniards and over. So it was just a weird amalgam kind of city. And it's strange to think that that's the same place that I live in now. All right. Like that's the same country that I live in now. Because at this point, if you're from anywhere other than like fucking New Jersey, they will fucking, what are you doing in here? I don't know if you remember, Graham, in my city that I live in currently, a little 6-year-old was stabbed by his landlord for being Palestinian. Old white dude.
Bloody hell.
Happened at a park in Michigan a couple of weeks ago. Old white guy came up with a knife and tried to cut the little girl's throat. She had to get stitches and all that stuff. They saved her. Like the enemy within that everyone keeps talking about, that the DOJ is talking about, is domestic, right? It is domestic stochastic terrorism where they're shutting down entire cities with threats to people that I'm going to harm you with guns. Well, they're not the only ones with guns. So that's the other part of the gun ownership part, is because in this country, there are crazies, but crazies also fear the guns. We don't have to flash them. They just have to know that they're out there. They ain't the only ones that have firearms, and they need to understand that. So then when they try to do stupid shit and when they try to show up other places, they need to have in the back kernel of that bean, they may not be the only one armed that day. So that is the reason why I am so.
I think you've got a lot more faith in humanity than I do.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm so strongly advocating for people to exercise their Second Amendment rights, because they need to understand that it is not going to be a cakewalk, and you should be careful if you're going to try to oppress people, right? Like they need to have that in their internals. Really? Yeah.
Really? Has America had difficulty in oppressing people over the years?
Well, because
of the Second Amendment, who's it protected, Mikey? Like, name me one group that has been actively protected by the Second Amendment.
Blacks,
white people.
Blacks in LA.
Really?
Yes.
How does that work?
And blacks in the South. Yes. They're
routinely murdered by the police.
They had to murder them. You got to do more research.
The police had to murder them.
Yes. There's a whole fucking federal case about, again, you have to do more research about the Second Amendment in this country. Not just what the numbers say.
Well, no other country has the Second Amendment, so, you know.
Well, I'm just saying.
It narrows it down a bit.
Yeah. Well,
But you think that that black people in America, and, you know, as someone who is from America and black, you probably have more authority on me than this, but I don't believe that any of the rights that were won by black people in America were won down the barrel of a gun.
Well, they didn't even start all of the bans on weapons and all that stuff until the Black Panthers started arming themselves and protecting their people, going back and forth to school and work and protecting their neighborhoods. And they weren't letting just anybody roll through. And then they say, you know what? People shouldn't be able to just carry guns. You should have to have it in the house, in the thing. Like, this is where all this shit came from, Like
Oh, look,
nobody had a problem with guns, and there wasn't this huge, big gun economy until it became, well, let's start taking things away. You know what? If they have them, we should have more. You know what? I should have a better one than he has. That's the arms race. Ain't got nothing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't think this has made it better.
I'm not going to be at the back of the arms race like, man, peace would really be great right now. Well, we're just going to keep it up until peace magically, instantaneously disapparates.
I don't think this has made it better for any community in America, than actual social progress and the fact that people change opinions. But I don't think that the gays got married because of South Koreans in LA. I don't think that Native Americans got the reservations because of guns. I don't think that black people were given rights in the South because of guns. No, I don't think it was because of guns. I don't think it had any effect on it whatsoever. Or if it's like the arms race that began because Whitey was scared of black people having guns, it's like, yeah, everyone should have a gun, even black people. Oh well, no, I didn't mean them. So then you have to start bringing in gun control,
and that's why the petty offenses and people like these little felonies that they would ticky tack people with for a blunt and the little bag that came with it. Oh, that's distribution. Oh, that's a felony. Yep. Da, da, da. Oh, well, now you can't own a gun. Like, this is all rooted in the same...
Crack down on crack, but not on cocaine. That was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, the powder versus the crack. I know. Everyone, I know what the stats are. I know. And it sucks. But
I just don't think it's been helpful.
But you have to survive.
No, other countries that have achieved better social integration with each other have done so without having to, feel the need to have a gun. I don't think it's made life better for anyone in America.
I mean, we had to have armed FBI or federal escorts for the little girls to go to a white school.
Yeah.
She's still alive. I didn't even know this. My mom went to segregated school up until 3rd grade.
Wow.
I had no idea. She just didn't mention it. She's like, we didn't talk about it. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? We didn't talk about it.
We're having a discussion in this country at the moment today about the Commonwealth heads of government are all meeting in Samoa, and there's 56 countries in the Commonwealth, and a lot of them are really affected by slavery and still affected to this day. And so we're having this same argument that goes around every time someone brings up the idea of reparations or even an apology for slavery from the United Kingdom. And it's like, oh, but it was a long time ago. What's it got to do with us? I'm like, hang on. The great-grandson of the 10th president of the United States is still freaking alive. So a guy who was born, literally when America was made a republic in 1790, whatever it was, his grandson is still alive today. Don't talk. It's not ancient history. It's still going on. And the reason why a lot of the countries in the Caribbean and West Africa are so goddamn poor is because of systemic racist problems that have occurred because the British turned up, they got what they wanted. We had the era of slavery, then we had the era of colonization. 2 separate eras, by the way. People tend to conflate them, but they were 2 separate eras, really. We should damn well be investing in these countries, not necessarily just giving them loads of money to play with. No, investing heavily in those countries and saying this is because we need to help each other out. It makes moral sense, it makes diplomatic sense, and it makes economic sense in just a complete Machiavellian point of view.
The fact
to
that
make people better.
The fact that Citibank, yes, that Citibank. If you guys have a Citibank card in your wallet right now, I'm sorry, but it's the same fucking Citibank with the ugly blue and green logo that held the fucking debt for Haiti and made them pay all that. Like this, we are responsible for the Haitian migrant crisis. Haiti is in trouble because of we.
So between Cuba, the tip of Cuba, the sort of, the eastern tip of Cuba and the western tip of Haiti, it's not that far. You could probably swim it. And yet, if you are a Cuban refugee and you turn up on a little boat coming towards Florida, it's like, oh, come on, quick, come from Cuba. Get away from the evil Castro dynasty. Come away from communism. Join capitalism. Right. It's great. If they're coming from Haiti, they're pushed back into the sea. Now, have you any idea why that might be?
Well, I know that you're not allowed to resist oppression or else they punish you for 1 billion years. But a lot of the Haitian people look black rather than Latin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, that isn't it? So maybe
But again,
systemic racism.
Again, we helped with the transition of power in Haiti, and Barbecue is the fucking leader, I guess, or is he dead? I don't fucking know what's going on at this
I don't
point.
know. Don't know. No one knows what's happening in Haiti. Not even the Haitians know what's happening in Haiti.
So the people are obviously fleeing a fucking bad place. You're like, nah, send them back to Barbecue.
Yeah.
President Barbecue is where you want to fucking send them? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
God damn. But hey.
But Trump's not just talking about getting rid of illegal immigration or illegal immigrants or refugees or asylum seekers. He's talking about getting rid of all the immigrants, which I assume includes his wife. Maybe he's going to have to infer in whatever, dig up his ex-wife and send her home as well.
Well, me too.
Back where she came from.
Well, me too. Because if I disagree with his stance, they can revoke people's citizenship, they say, for being disloyal to the country. So it won't just be everybody who is black or brown. It'll be all of you blue-haired, non-binary types too, because you're un-American. So they'll deport you to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Where y'all from?
Elon Musk, he's an African immigrant, even worse.
He is an African immigrant.
And Rupert Murdoch, he's an Australian immigrant, which are the worst of the lot.
Hey, again, look, I tell Wayne all the time, y'all the one who ran around starting fires everywhere. Now you want to start blaming the fires for being a fire. Look, you did it. Don't do shit if you don't want it to be there. Australia wouldn't have been there if they would have been just chilling, but you sent criminals.
They were chilling for 50,000 years before Whitey turned up and decided to destroy what was the vibrant Aboriginal cultures over there of, again, hundreds and hundreds of different tribes, different languages, different beliefs, different sacred, religions and things. And we just turned up and thought, we'll have this.
And I just saw, I think a couple of days ago on like Democracy Now! Everybody follow them for all your headlines. I believe they've never recognized like the Crown or the Australian government, like the Aboriginal people, like they've never recognized them. Like they'll talk to them and do like managerial shit, but they've never like, you're here and I'm cool. Like they've never said that. They've been like, nope, fuck it.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was an incident in Australia this week where there was an Aboriginal person who was screaming at the King Charles, saying, "You're not my king, and you stole the bones of our ancestors," which the British did. British. I mean, my least favorite story, but my favorite story that I like to tell about the founding of Australia is that Melbourne was founded by a guy called Batman. Like literally Batman, John Batman, that was his name. And he traded, this pretty much what happened with Manhattan. He traded with the local Aboriginal group that was there for the land around the bay in what's now Melbourne, for like some coloured beads and some bits of string and buttons, like nothing worth anything.
And I'm sure the guy understood exactly what he meant by pointing and shit.
Yeah. But about property rights and things like that. Anyway, so John Batman was arrested. He was arrested by I guess it would have been the British, government, whatever. He was arrested and put on trial. Would you like to know why he was put on trial?
For talking to an Aboriginal?
Almost. For trading with the Aboriginals. He shouldn't have even given them those shiny buttons. He should have just taken their land, because that's what the law was at the time. That literally happened. And people go,
Batman, you idiot.
It's like, okay, well, Melbourne didn't do very well out of that deal, did they? And now you go to Melbourne, you go to Sydney, you go to Brisbane, maybe not Brisbane so much, but definitely Canberra, Melbourne and Sydney. You hardly see any Aboriginal people there. You don't. You hardly see any, because they're made to feel not welcome. They're still penalised for who they are, and the Australians, what they want to do is kind of shunt all the different Aboriginal tribes all the way up to the Northern Territory. And don't forget, down in the south of Australia, like it's temperate climate. They've got trees and stuff. It's not the desert.
They got forests.
It's like taking someone from like rural New Hampshire and putting them in the Nevada desert and going, "You'll be all right."
Same thing.
And like, I'm not used to this. What are you doing? Why are you putting me here? I'll go forage for some food. You'll be fine.
Frustrated atheist in chat says, "I'm John," said in Christian Bale's Batman voice. Well played, Russ. Well played. But I do have a bit of a cheery note. So there is a new thing in Chicago, the land of guns. Blah. We're going to see several shootouts and drive-bys in this one clip. But I know that there is a housing crisis in the UK. I listen to LBC almost every morning. And,
that's nice.
And pensioners are in their homes. And the fuel tax is gone, I hear, for all of the rich people who didn't need it.
Yep.
But you guys should really get into British politics. It's interesting.
Is it? The winter fuel allowance, this was basically millionaires who were old were getting 300 quid for the winter to keep their mansions warm. And he said, that's a bit silly. Why are we giving money to millionaires? I don't need this money.
Oh, then they're going to take the last log out of the old man's fire. And it's like, that lady has a castle, dude. Yeah. What are you talking about? She's fine. It was for houses over 250,000 pounds.
If people need it, they can have it. Right. If they don't need it, they shouldn't get it.
And it was like 70%, like 70% of the people who were like eligible for it weren't even fucking signed up for it. So it's not even, wasn't a real thing. But the housing crisis is huge here in Chicagoland. A lot of predatory companies from out of state, Georgia. They got a lot of, thanks to Trump's tax cuts, they got these huge loans. They got lots and lots of properties up here in Chicagoland. They have no investment in what happens to them. They just want the cash. The markets have gone absolutely through the roof. And this might warm your souls.
The cause of homelessness at its core is the lack of access to affordable housing, period. So it's not so much that we don't know the solution. We do know the solution.
Shout out to More Perfect Union.
It's more permanent affordable housing. It's how do we get to that point to have that in place?
Doug Schenkelberg is one of the people who 6 years ago began developing the idea for Bring Chicago Home.
We came in with the idea that we need to find a revenue stream that can achieve this goal. And so we did a lot of research about what would make the most sense. And that's when
this is so diabolical and perfect. You're gonna love it.
We landed on the real estate transfer tax.
That's that one-time tax that's paid when real estate is transferred from one owner to another.
Right now, property buyers pay a one-time flat tax of 0.75.
So let's take a look at this. So currently, there is a one-time flat tax. So if you sell your house of 0.75%, and that goes to Chicago. And then proposed is they want a 0.6%, so a reduction for properties. For properties under $1 million.
Yeah, for normal people.
Yes. And then it will be minus 2% on properties. Wait a minute. I'm lost on minus 2. Oh, no. It's not minus. Those are hyphens. Don't do hyphens with numbers, assholes.
I know.
I hate that. I was like minus 0.6. What the fuck?
Yeah. What?
What the hell? What kind of interest rate? So 2%. So there's going to be an increase of up to 2% on properties that are 1 to 1.5 million, and then all the way up to 3% on properties above $1.5 million. So that's a reduction for everybody except the friggin' millionaires. Radical notion.
5% of sales.
Chicago's real estate transfer tax is a fee charged when a property is sold. Right now, it's a flat tax at 0.75%. Bring Chicago Home would raise that tax to 2% for properties sold for over $1 million, and it would increase it to 3% for those over $1.5 million. The plan would also lower the tax for properties sold for less than $1 million. In Chicago, that's
I forgot
the
she was going to do the
vast
fucking exact math that we just fucking did. God damn it.
sales. 93% of buyers would get a tax cut. Advocates for the plan estimate it will raise at least $100 million a year for what they call permanent affordable housing.
Well, you can have your homeless shelter, when you can afford it. You know, who's going to pay for all this shit? You know, who's going to be able to finance all these Okay. You and you is the only people we need to tax, and we're good. And that amount of tax on how much money those guys, they won't even miss it. They can't even miss it. It's such a small amount to them that it just drives me insane that they care about money that they physically can't miss. Like, you can't miss $33,000 if you're a billionaire. Yeah, how do you feel that money missing? If I'm missing 10 grand, I know I am all bones up here like my fucking avatar with no skin, just an afro and a pick in it, just trying to do the best stream I can because I haven't eaten in 10 years. But it's unfathomable. Do you think something like this would swing over there on your side of the pond there, Graham?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a newspaper in this country called the Metro, which you get free when you go on the underground in London, or you get on any public transport like the trains and the buses and things around the country. It's a free newspaper. Yeah, it's a free newspaper.
Oh, you got to pay for that.
And they ran a advert this morning that was the cover of their newspaper, and it was it was something like the billionaires with a conscience or something, and it said, millionaires with who care about Britain, and it said, tax us more. We have the money. Please tax us more. There is a way to get this money because we've got the budget coming up next week in Parliament.
How do you feel about that?
I'm quietly confident that it would be quite good. I might end up with egg all over my face or something worse this time next week.
So what needs to go on, like, with the that part I haven't been able to gather just from like my random LBC clips. So like I know the NHS is needing it, but what else?
NHS, education, infrastructure. Like, we've got all our roads are full of potholes, all our bridges are falling down because they're made of concrete and they're 50 years old. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent to get the fundamentals right again after 14 years of Conservative Party mismanagement of the economy and the country and everything.
Just let it go.
They're trying to come up with ways of increasing the amount that they get in tax without increasing the tax burden on what they call working people. And by working people, they mean not the billionaires, not the millionaires, not the people with inherited money.
What's the average salary
in the UK?
Yeah,
it's around £27,000, which translates to about $40,000.
Okay,
give or take. That's the sort of the average salary, but it used to be higher. I mean, it used to be way higher, but then we left the EU and did a bunch of stupid things which made our economy smaller. So there's been kind of like a positive noises from the Labour Party, who are now in power, over what they're going to do, but I don't think they're going to do much in this budget. I think it's going to be not quite as ambitious as I would like it to be.
It never is.
But I think it's going to be a step in the right direction of taxing the people who have loads of money. Because let's not forget, the billionaires of the world doubled their assets throughout the pandemic. I mean, we used to hang people from from lampposts for profiteering from the war in World War II, and now we're like, oh, you can profiteer from a pandemic that wiped out millions. That's fine. But I did have a question for you about rent in America.
Yeah.
Right. In the UK, until the mid-90s, you couldn't walk into a bank and say, I would like a mortgage for a house that I'm not going to live in. I'm going to put someone else in that house and they're going to pay the mortgage for me through their rent. Has that always been the case in America, or how does it work in America?
I don't know that you could get a loan for a rental property like that. I think you'd have to just own it and then get it inspected and then get your paperwork to be a landlord and then lease it out. That's really interesting. I think that's how it was set up.
Because in the UK, you can get a buy-to-let mortgage, which never used to be legal. You never used to be able to take out money for a house you're going to live in. And so what these people have done since the mid-90s is they have bought a house, got a massive mortgage on it, and then they have put someone in that house and they have spent 35 hours a week working and then the product of their toil, their wages, the landlord comes and takes 50% of that and says, I need that to pay off the mortgage for the house that you are living in. And it gets even worse when people who are living in these properties are on some kind of benefit, because who pays the benefit?
I'll have that.
The taxpayer. So we're literally paying off the mortgage, right? Get this, we're paying off the mortgage for some perhaps millionaires' second home, third home, fourth home. Who knows? They can have as many homes as they like.
So there you go. There's where your money is. Banks. Yeah. Oh, you're coughing it up. You got it. You took what should have been gone back into the economy. So yeah, that's where your money is. That right there, that's your problem. Actually, right there, that's your problem.
I think that houses should be a bit like dinner. You can have second helpings once everyone's been served first. When we live in a country where people don't have homes, it's disgusting that anyone should have more than one house.
So I rant frequently about the housing crisis, especially in my area, and I can't really like screenshot it, and like share it to everybody. But there is a place not too far away from me. Graham, the rent, like my rent is already crazy. $2,000 a month. Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
This place is $8,000 a month.
Jesus.
I'm like, that's bullshit. They're manipulating the market.
For rent.
A month. For a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house or townhouse to rent $8,000 a month. And I looked to see, maybe they meant 800, but that doesn't sound right either. They 10 days previously took it from 7,500 up to 8,000. Yeah. So they are literally fucking with the market to make it so that you don't have anywhere to stay. Like there is nowhere to stay except where you're already at, and they're going to keep cranking it up and cranking it. And this is all done.
Someone's got to give. Something's got to give, mate.
And this is all done like this. And this is all done according to an algorithm.
Yeah.
So that they can't get sued for their collusion. So they're saying we all looked at the same Magic 8 Ball. The Magic 8 Ball told us to do this. I didn't know what it was saying. I don't know. I just put what the website tells me to do. I don't know. Yeah, but in the meantime, the entire housing market has been essentially confiscated by pirates.
Yes.
And the battle to get that property out of their hands is a tricky one, because they might just say, I want $1 million each.
Because you know what Americans are like with their property.
Yeah.
But the other problem that we had, and I think you had something similar in America, was that we had a situation up until the 80s in which we had councils building homes for people who were on low incomes or couldn't work, social housing, which we had this. It's nothing new. Everyone has it around the world to some degree. And what they decided in the 1980s was that you should be able to buy your own council house, which, makes sense to a certain degree, but only if you build a new house for every house that you sell. Because otherwise, in 30 years' time, there's going to be hardly any social housing, because it's all become privately owned by the people who lived in those council houses. And that's literally what's happened.
And council housing are like housing projects, or they're just like a house that the city or like the government buys, and then people on lower income levels can rent it or live there free, or how does that work? We don't have those here, or not, at least not by that name.
Yeah.
No, I was like asking. So like, how would you define a council house? Because we don't really have those here.
So it's a social housing. It's just it's a house where you don't pay rent to live there.
Okay, that's not a thing here. That's what I was like. What is that? Like?
Oh right, okay, you don't have it at all.
Yeah, we don't.
That makes sense, but
yeah, you have
you get government subsidies, don't you, for
like the projects maybe? Like that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, that's what. But
like the housing projects.
If you're on a low income, the government prop up your income, don't they? If you work for Walmart, they don't pay you a living wage, so the government, i.e., taxpayers, pay you money, so Walmart doesn't have to pay you your correct wage.
So how that works over here is like, say, like I won't say it's intentional, but let's say half a mile from the Walmart, there is an apartment complex. It's got 300 units. They're all kind of shitty, but they take Section 8 when Section 8 housing is where the government will subsidize a generous portion, so maybe half of the rent. So it's like a $900 apartment because it's kind of shitty. It's a 1-bedroom. You're really hard on your shit, and you're just trying to get your head above water. The government takes care of half of that. The problem is that a lot of the apartment developers and these builders, they only built for Section 8. Or the people who were already established and had their apartment buildings set up and had clientele, they had to change the way that they leased out everything so that if you made a certain amount of money, you're no longer allowed to live here. And that's what happened to me. So that I'm in this weird group of people where you try, like I was living in a cheaper place. Like that's why me and my single mom lived there, is because it was affordable. And so then when I went to move out and get my own place, I couldn't because they told me I made too much. And I was like, well, how does that work? When we was like, well, my mom was like, yeah, we had to leave anyway because both of us working, we can't be here. So me and my mom ended up not living together after that, but me and my girlfriend at the time ended up having to get a place. So we went from an $800 for a 2-bedroom apartment. In 6 months, I had to turn around and get a $1,200 1-bedroom apartment with the girlfriend.
Shit.
And I've never paid less than that since. And that was at 18 or 18, 19 when I moved out. It's just been stacking every year since that. And like in the last 2 years, we've noticed a $600 increase in our rent.
In a year?
In 2 years, 3 years.
Our rents have gone up. The big reason why our rents went up in this country and our mortgages went up was because of this woman called Liz Truss, who was Prime Minister.
And that I have made mistakes.
Who was Prime Minister for 2 weeks, and she managed to crash the UK economy. If you have a look at type in pound to dollar over time, and it's a line, and then there's a massive dip, and it goes back up again, and then there's a line. And basically that dip, when it went to almost parity with the dollar and almost $1 to £1, was when this mad woman was allowed to be in charge. She is part of the Heritage Foundation, which is currently trying to take over America. And if they do, they're going to pull the same stunt in America. So you're talking to me about having a $2,000 rent a month. Hey, you're going to look back on these days as the halcyon, happy days of your life. Seriously, if Trump gets back in, because your rent's going to go through the roof. I guarantee it.
Why would you say that Liz Truss did such thing? Why would you say that? Look at the spike.
No, that's before Liz Truss. That was.
Wait. It's zoomed out. Hold on. There it is.
No, it's that one. That's the one. No. Keep going to the left. One? There it is.
I thought that's what I was zoomed in on.
No, you're a bit to the left.
Okay.
Look at that dip.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry, and that I have made mistakes.
Useful puppet.
Absolute.
That's what puppets do for you. They don't know what they're friggin' doing.
Heritage Foundation, mate. Project 2025. It's coming to the United States of America near you.
This is what happens when Dum Dum thinks tariffs are gonna punish China. You know what I mean? Like this is what happens when you don't understand. This motherfucker tried to squint and look real fast at a solar eclipse. Like the guy is not. He's not bright. He's not bright.
No, he's not. It doesn't have to be. He just has to be charismatic enough for dickheads to think, oh, he's just like me. He's a blue collar billionaire. He works in McDonald's. He knows what fries are.
And I think since we're kind of running on time here, I didn't actually book Graham for any length. I probably should have did that. That was very unprofessional of me, and I apologize. Wayne,
I want my money back.
Wayne, you're getting written up for this.
It's all Wayne's fault.
Wayne did this to me. This following couple that I'm going to show you guys. Now, this is a landlord. I want to move to the South Side today and go live in this house. Check this out, y'all. Oh, there we go.
I do not see a strong affinity between people like ourselves and people who really are representing big corporate residential interest.
Aisha Ray and her husband Paul own an apartment building on Chicago's South Side where they rent 5 units.
So this building still has in these rooms all of its original wood.
They have owned and lived in this building for nearly 40 years. And they personify a split between how small and large landlords are responding to the referendum.
I think
now that is a place I'd like to live in. It's homey, it's nice. Like, this is a great place.
Other people like my husband and I, who have a 6-flat building, that this legislation will help us and not hurt us. To my understanding, the actual percentage of tax that we will pay will drop. Well, hallelujah. I mean, who could be against this? This sounds like a grand idea. Plus, we're addressing this critical social problem at the same time. I think.
So there you go. Stop being xenophobes and stop otherizing your fellow citizens, your countrymen.
I've said this a few times, Mikey. Like, a good idea is a good idea, and if it is a good idea, it will make sense to people, whether they're on the left or the right or the center of the political spectrum. A good idea is a good idea, and there's so many things when it comes to like legalizing drugs or putting in rent controls, whatever it is, that are not just morally correct, but they are also financially sound. Like,
it's good money.
It's good money. It is the economic decision that your country should, or your state, or your town, or your village, whatever, should take that. But so many times people vote with their idiot hearts instead of their stupid heads, and they just go, oh no, they get pulled up in this whole, oh no, but if we give too much nice stuff to this group over here, then that will stop nice things happening to you. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. It's not a zero-sum game. It is not a zero-sum game. The richer other people are, the richer you are. That is the way it works. As long as there's lots of rich people and not just a handful who control everything. That is the problem. And there's the gap between rich and poor that makes people miserable, to be honest with you. You look at countries that haven't got that much, but the gap between the richest person and the poorest person isn't that big. Overall, those countries are a lot happier.
Yeah.
Countries where you see people who sit on their arse all day and have millions of pounds to play with. They don't care. They can try as many daft, enterprises as they like, because they know they never, ever will be homeless. They will never lose their home. There's nothing they can do that will stick. And these people live amongst us, but they don't live like us. They don't have the empathy to understand what it's like to be desperate.
A life without consequence.
Yes.
And for that. And for them,
manifestation of,
and for them,
boomer.
That is I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, is to live a life where nothing mattered.
Yeah.
Because your true your humanity is wrapped up in your struggles and how you overcome them and getting over things and doing the right thing even when it's hard. Like, that's part of being you. Like, not even in some anime superhero way. But it's true. Like, it defines you. Standing up to the fucking bully who tried to push you off the slide when you were 6. Like, that changed you and made you a different kind of person from that experience. They can't even participate in the experience part because of fucking money.
Yeah. It ruins their lives. You're
they're
absolutely right.
Done.
Because
they can't be real people.
How many celebrities do we have to see who go down that route, or like Michael Jackson, for instance, where you achieve fame and fortune at quite a young age, and then for the rest of your life, you don't know who to trust.
Ever.
You can't. Is someone being nice to you because they actually like you as a person, or are they being nice to you because they want your money, or the doors that you can open for them? And it makes these rich people paranoid as fuck.
Yep.
And I don't think the cocaine helps with this either. By the way, rich people, lay off that a bit. But I mean, it leads to them making some really catastrophic decisions in their lives that have huge ramifications for the rest of us a lot of the time. Just when like Trump goes off on one because he's a narcissistic asshole who no one has ever said no to.
And that's a problem when you're a grown ass adult and you're going through life and you've never been told no. Like, you see, like when people were told they had to wear a mask because it stopped the spread of a contagion, and they looked at you like you had 7 heads. And it's like, but people are dying next to you. Your family members was like, well, fuck that mask. It's like, what's wrong with your brain?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be one country.
Brainworms.
We're supposed to be one country, but it's
OFK Jr. Brainworms.
Yeah, Health and Human Services. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? The brain.
Hey, he's got to put Elon in charge of fucking government's payouts. Anyone who wants to get money off the government, they're gonna have to ask Elon, and he'll go, "Oh, maybe I'll give you some billions that like what SpaceX gets and what Tesla gets in subsidies. For every Tesla car sold, about $7,000, right, $7,000 comes from Tesla sold in the US." It's subsidized by the American taxpayer.
Yep, for the
guy is
EV car. There's an EV car tax credit.
Yes, which is paid for by the American taxpayer, and it goes to Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, because he needs more money and more ketamine. His drug of choice is ketamine. He
loves it. He's probably got a little Capri Sun full of ketamine right now.
Yes.
Anyway, with a little saucy. Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I've got to say toodaloo, toodle pip. I don't know what British people say these days. Ta-ra, we say in Liverpool. Ta-ra, mate.
Well, everybody, make sure you go check out @Politics Social UK. Pragmatic Chris is going to drop the link. I know she will.
It's like this, but with more alcohol.
Yes.
You're not allowed alcohol in America, are you? Just guns, no alcohol.
We can outdrink all of you and your mossy little rock. Like, come on, man. We made bourbon.
Pubs.
We made bourbon. Okay.
You made bourbon, which is like poor man's whiskey. Yeah.
Say that to my face when you're here. We're drinking bourbon when you get here.
Okay. All right. I'll be there in a couple of months. All right. Just before the apocalypse.
It's just one place, so we'll just meet at America, and we'll be at the American bar.
I've got to be careful about how I show this on the screen, but basically, there's my American visa. This is in my passport, and there it is. I can now officially go to America. Ta-da! You can't keep me out now, Mikey.
Well, this is like Hotel California, my friend.
Oh no, mate! I'm getting out.
No.
For the Trumpocalypse.
No, you're with us now. Where's my
problems, big fella?
All right, guys, we're going to catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
I forgot to do the thing. There it is.
Woo! Come on.